Okay, now in the previous lecture I have showed you how we can install the transformer remark plugin for the Gatsby.js projects, and we have created an example article and we have fetched it with the GraphQL here. So whenever we run this, we get all of the information that is available here in our article. Now, one thing that I notice here is that we need an image for our article so we can display it here. So now let's go ahead and find our Gatsby here as an URL of the image. So let's go ahead and find that image and copy its destination. Okay. Copy image address. Let me just check it. Remove the the width here. We can provide it like a link here like that, or you can provide it like a destination to your Gatsby JPEG in the static folder here. Okay, now what we would want to do is to go to our GraphQL and add image to our query on a new line and run that. And as you can see, this has thrown an error here. This is because we would need to recompile our Gatsby project. So let's type Gatsby develop. Now just reload your GraphQL here. And here we have our image destination. Okay, so now let's see how we can add our query to our component. So first, let's go ahead in our index.js file and delete some of the posts here. Now let's import GraphQL, but let's provide it in brackets, GraphQL from Gatsby. And now what we would want to do is below our component here, we would want to export const query that's going to be equal to GraphQL. And now you would want to type two columns like that, which are the back columns. You can find them above the tab button. And here you would want to copy your query and paste it between those two. Okay, now that we have our query, that's going to be added to our props of the component. One way to access it is to provide props, and after that inside of our component you can access it by props.data, or we can use the structuring, which is very useful and is ES6 style. So you can basically extract the data object from inside of props. So you can just type the curly brackets and data inside. So now let's restructure this. Just copy the component and remove those brackets, and we're going to use curly brackets, and we're going to return our component here because we would want to console log the data that we are currently going to have. So let's type console log and let's log the data. Okay, this will log the data and will render our component. So now let's go ahead and stop our project and run it again. Whenever you get this kind of error, just remove your public and cache folders, because you're currently running this and something has cached and you cannot rewrite it. And the easiest way that I have found is to just delete those folders and run Gatsby develop again. Okay, now that we have compiled our project again, let's go ahead inside of our Gatsby project here. Okay, accidentally I have deleted our static folder, so now let's go ahead and refresh this. Okay, so now we have our blog post here opened. So let's go ahead and open the console and see what object do we get. This is our own markdown remark. Inside of the notes we have an array, and the first element has the excerpt, the formatter, and the HTML of that element. Okay, this is it for this lecture. We have seen how we can use a GraphQL query inside of our components. So let's continue to the next one.